Good morning, it's Craig here. January 2nd. I've been out the back here writing for probably just over an hour, and I finished planning Act 3.3. I was going to do it yesterday afternoon, but went for a swim instead and didn't get to doing it. So as long as the mornings are consistent, I keep on with the morning. So I planned 3.3 this morning, and I had a look at 3.4 afterwards, which will be the last act of chapter 3, which is also the last act of the first part of the novel, the first half of the novel. And I found it a little tricky. I mean, I've got the general scope of what's going to happen, but not the details at the moment, and it feels a bit harder to be as fluent and as improvised maybe in putting thoughts down, even though that's what's worked really well for every other act, and it's all come together really nicely. And Act 3.3 took a direction I wasn't didn't have in mind, didn't have planned out at the start, but when I was actually sort of writing it down, it all made sense and it looked really good. And just that nature of let's try this and see what happens has worked really well so far. But this morning, with regards to the last act of the chapter, I just couldn't quite do it because it feels too significant as the last act of the last chapter of the first half of the book. I feel there's something very particular which I don't understand yet that needs to happen in that act. And maybe it's just a matter of putting the action in that I know about, that I understand is going to happen, without trying to be too significant at this stage. Maybe that will come on the third round of edits, and it's sometimes best just to get something down and then build on it later, rather than stopping yourself and not doing anything because it's not completely perfect the first time. So that's something for me to consider. But I am going to take a break now. It's the first day back of the work year, so I'm going to put in my work day now, and then I'll come back later this afternoon after I clock off from my job, and I will try and work on 3.4 with the idea that if I can finish it by the end of the day, then I'll be able to start on the second half of the novel tomorrow, which I'd really like. I'd love to think that that's what I had in store for tomorrow. But equally, if I don't get a chance to do 3.4 this afternoon, then I will just do it tomorrow morning. Part of me's been wondering if it would be interesting to almost keep some data on what I feel of the quality of what I'm writing in the morning compared to what I've been doing in the afternoon. The morning mind is sometimes a little more fresh and on par and on focus with what you're trying to achieve, but I don't feel that the afternoon brain is suffering too much. It feels okay at that time of afternoon too, and maybe different recollections, different thoughts, more more feelings and emotional sort of focus, rather than maybe the more clinical structural sort of stuff I'm doing in the morning. I don't know, it would be an interesting little thing for me to plot later, but at this stage that's the plan. 3.4 this afternoon, and we'll go from there. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow morning. See you then.